It's October, and that means we have lots of strongman action coming up. So October is a busy month for strongman. We have America's Strongest Man, we've got the World Tour Finals, we've got SCL comps going on, and we have Rogue to look forward to at the end of the month. We're going to start off with the World Tour Finals, the final strongman competition of the Giants Live calendar for the year. This is meant to be their premiere show. They kind of, World Tour Finals sounds all kind of impressive. Mm-hmm. Very different lineup for this competition.
Yeah, really different. There's 5 new faces to the lineup this year. Strange events as well, like a weird sort of mix of events. No deadlift, which we never see.
We haven't seen a Giants Live without a deadlift. I can't remember in how long.
Ever.
Potentially ever. Yeah, these particular set of events, it almost reminds me of like a World's Strongest Man group phase, where much harder to predict sometimes how athletes are going to do. And with some of the new faces, there's lots of medleys, lots of events that require speed and conditioning. And we know Giants Live are a fast-paced show, so the athlete's going to need to make sure they are fit. However, with that max log in there as a first event, you kind of have to weigh up as an athlete. Do I come in really focused on the log, bit bigger, maybe a little bit slower, or do I think, okay, I'm not going to get involved in the log lift championship so much, but I want to be in good shape all round?
Well, as a World's Strongest Man qualifier, I think the vast majority who aren't the absolute top log pressers are going to be looking at the whole competition. But let's go through the lineup to remind ourselves who is in this show.
Okay, we've got Mateusz Kiliashkowski coming back to Giants Live. A very consistent performer at any Giants Live. We've got Luke Stoltman on home ground. Andre Foyter, who just did 220 kilos in training, another amazing log lifter. Tim Buck coming over to Giants Live for the first time. Maxime Boudreau, we've seen him on the podium at Giants Live before. Evans Nana, last time he came 5th at this very competition, wants to get himself back to World's Strongest Man. Gav Bilton is here. James Jeffers, first time for the Canadian, he's coming to Giants Live. The recent winner of Scotland's Strongest Man, Callum Crozier. Ryan Bennett has had a late invite up to this one. He's been doing very well at the OSG comps, OSG Europes and OSG Worlds. Ole Pilipak, I think that's how you say his name, probably butchered that, but he won the OSG Europes competition. An athlete that apparently, I spoke to Terry Hollins about him, he reminds him of Alexei Novikov. Real gutsy, very, very strong. Andrew Flynn is coming back to Giants Live. He's done very well in a few Giants Live competitions. And again, a good athlete. Very, very good when it comes to medleys and those speed events. And then, just recently announced, we have the return of Luke Richardson. Luke unfortunately tore his bicep at World's Strongest Man this year, but he is the current Europe's Strongest Man.
He is, yes.
And an absolute beast of an athlete. Good strength, good speed and conditioning. When he's in shape, an absolute threat at any show. And then finally, we have Tom Stoltman and Jack Osborne, who are doing the log only. So big lineup for this one. Obviously, some athletes there for the full comp, others just doing the log lift.
Yeah, so to remind ourselves of the events then, they are starting with the max log. So that is the Log Lift World Championships in its own right, with its own little trophy. But for the guys doing the full competition, the points do carry over into the full show. I wrote down the wheelbarrow loading event. What is that? I don't even know.
So it's like a skip with handle. It's a bit like a...
They run, load.
Yeah, they're going to load various different objects. I think there's a tyre, a sandbag, a keg, potentially. Okay. They load them from distance into the wheelbarrow and then pick it up, push it across the finish line. We have seen it done before.
Yeah. So loading / grip event.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it much of a grip event, to be honest. I don't think
because you have good grip.
Yeah, most of these guys do as well, but it's not like grip event like a really heavy farmers or
No.
I think it'll be a fast-paced event. It's going to be, quick. You're going to have to not mess around. Anyone plodding between implements, they're going to lose out on time.
This is one I know you'd hate. A duck walk into a drag is next.
Yeah, duck walk into drag. So they're going to be carrying the duck walk into a chain and anchor drag, I believe.
Yeah. And then they're doing the wrecking ball hold. So not an actual grip test, more of an endurance.
From talking to athletes that do it, they tend to feel it more, whole body, but particularly the glutes, hamstrings, lower back. It starts to just really, really get uncomfortable. Yeah. Grip is a factor, but it's not pure grip. It's more total body strength, total body mind over matter. How much can you endure pain-wise?
And then they're finishing the competition with the Atlas stones. There's no such thing as the light or heavy set at Giants anymore. It's always the heavy set. So no deadlift in this show, which I know as a minimum, is going to greatly please Maxime Boudreau and Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Yeah, I'd even throw Luke Stoltman into that mix.
Yes.
I think looking at the lineups, there's athletes that would have been very happy to not see a deadlift. And, as fans, maybe you do want to see a deadlift, but as an athlete, you're always looking for your best events in a competition. So, we had the Deadlift World Championships, some of the absolute best deadlifters in the world. Different lineup in this one. There's good deadlifters in there, but there's a lot of better log lifters, which kind of makes sense with the Log Lift World Championships.
So in terms of predictions, I'm finding this really tricky, partly because there's 5 new guys and we don't know how they're going to perform at this level yet. We might not know their strengths like we do some of the more seasoned athletes. Taking the deadlift out, like deadlift, because they use the same sort of deadlift so often, it's quite predictable for us. We know on a good day they'll do this.
You've got a lot of data of what people can do, absolutely. And I will say, things like the wheelbarrow loading and even the duck walk into drag, very easy to make mistakes on.
Yes, of course.
With a deadlift, you kind of know what people are going to score within a rep or so.
Yeah.
On these type of events, yes, we know athletes can be quick, but there are elements where a small mistake can just really cost you. Just being slow between implements can cost you. How you throw the implements into the back of the skip can kind of it can kind of change how much weight is in your hands when you're carrying. Yeah, absolutely. So just little things for athletes to think about, and as say you were kind of parting with your money betting on it, it just makes it much, much harder to get a real solid prediction. And Giants Live have been hard to predict all year anyway.
I think with the max log being the first event, we're going to see quite a few ties going into the main show from like a lot of the guys that aren't the standout log lifters.
Well, when we look at the lineup, it's a great group of log lifters. However, we've seen a lot of athletes struggle on this log, especially the first time they try it. And the important thing is executing. Just because you've done something in the gym doesn't mean people come and do it. We've seen the likes of Evan Singleton come and do 170 on the log. We've seen athletes that just completely zeroed, that are doing 200 kilos in training. So making sure that you get the clean right, you get the conditions right, very, very important. I think the log will be a big factor, especially for predicting a winner. I think guys like Luke Stoltman, having the familiarization that he's used that log many times, having no deadlift in there, make him a real threat for this competition. I will say the addition of Luke Richardson makes it very interesting. Luke has the ability to go and train on the kit quite regularly.
Richardson.
Yes. Yeah. He is coming back from injury, which is going to be in the back of his mind, but his attitude seems to have changed recently. He seems to really just
hungry.
He's hungry. He's kind of like, all right, I'm going to have to take some risks. And that element brings two factors. One, you can make you a champion, can make you injured.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who'll either come and absolutely smash it, or he'll get hurt. And it's horrible to say that, but if he's okay with that, and you have to be as an athlete, it makes him a threat in any competition, but it makes him unpredictable.
Yeah. I think on paper, this should be a great competition also for Maxime Boudreau. However, we have seen him suffer with injury and struggle a bit earlier this year. So, with that in mind, I think my top 3, in no particular order, will be Luke, and Mateusz.
But I think a lot of these new guys will be good at these moving events as well.
And some of these guys are so good as well. Like Tim Buck was the tester at World's Strongest Man this year. Everyone's watching him like, why isn't this guy in the lineup? Like these guys are genuinely very good. And Oleg?
Yeah. I mean, from what Terry's told me, he is really good one to watch. I know guys like Andy Flynn really love those kind of moving type of events. Same with people like Callum Crozier, the newly crowned Scotland's Strongest Man. He's very good at those type of events. So it depends. Can they stay within contention on the log? And I think the log's a deciding factor for me. Because I think there's probably going to be 3 weights that really decide the competition. And you're probably looking at sort of 190, 200, 210.
Yeah.
I think that's the jumps that they're going to be going for. Maybe even 180 could be, if you don't get 180, you're probably in trouble.
So they're opening at 170, I believe. I think
it's 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 215, 222, I believe.
Okay. So I think quite a few will tie at 180. And I know they will be good for more in the gym or on other logs and other competitions, but like you said, we do see a lot of struggle on this, especially the first time.
And that's the thing, it depends where they tie. So the people that can get to, say, 200, 210 in a great position.
Yeah, really good.
The people that get 200, 190-ish, and Ty, they're still in there.
Yeah.
If you're in that group that misses those important lifts,
it's going to be really hard.
Because where the points get split and you get kind of a barrier of people kind of get that extra points, it does make things hard. So for me, the log is super important, and that's why I probably would have Luke Stoltman as my favourite. He's got experience in Giants Live, he's used to the pace, he's won Giants Live shows before. Home ground, and we know how good the Scottish crowd is. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think there could be lots and lots of surprises, but if I had to put money on it for this one, it would be Luke Stoltman.
So this weekend at the Olympia, we have the 2025 America's Strongest Man and America's Strongest Woman. Now, there are different categories for this. So we've got open class men and women. We've got, I think it's under 105 men and under 73 kilo women. So in the opens men, we have Lucas Hatton as the reigning champion, two-time champion, back to back. And honestly, it's a massive lineup. I don't know a lot of the names.
Sure.
I do know quite a few of the names. I recognise some of the names. Nick Guardione is doing it this year. I don't know if it's his first time ever, but it's certainly his first time since he sort of stepped up to the pro level. And I think realistically, he is Lucas's biggest threat. And if you look at the events, I think it could be a really interesting and close competition.
Well, the events, just go through them quickly. We've got behind the neck press, which we'd put Lucas Hatton as a big favourite for.
Yeah.
Axel deadlift ladder, I'd probably say Lucas on that. But, he's I'd probably have him as the favourite.
Yeah, I'd put Lucas over Nick for that.
Arm over arm, you've got to put Nick as the favourite on that one.
Yeah.
Max weight toss for height or bag toss, that's going to be a Nick type event. He's really good at those type of events.
Yeah.
Frame carry.
Into a circus dumbbell for reps.
So if it was just frame, 100% you go for Nick.
Yeah.
With the dumbbell in there, you got to give it to Lucas.
Do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. Lucas's dumbbell is unbelievable.
It would be helpful to know the weight.
I mean, obviously it's getting to the frame. I don't know how heavy the frame is.
I think if it's a super heavy dumbbell, it suits Lucas more. I think if it's not too bad, if Nick gets there that much faster than him, run.
If the frame was super, super heavy and it stopped people getting to it, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with Lucas on that one.
Okay. And then a keg carry and
load. I think, again, you've got to go for Nick on that one. So could be about who gets between them. I mean, I don't mean to disregard anyone else. There's lots of great athletes, up-and-coming guys. So should be a great competition. I would love to go and watch America's Strongest Man and the Olympia one year.
We would. And it's in Vegas as well. What fun we could make of it. But it is going to be live streamed, I believe, on the Strongman Corp YouTube channel.
Link down below.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the video description. But just quickly looking at the women's lineup as well. Some interesting names in there. You've got Olga Lyshuk, who is a former champion.
Yep.
Jackie Rhodes, who's been doing very, very well. Summer Johnson is an interesting one because she is a weight class athlete.
Summer's awesome. She is super powerful.
She's a beast.
I would say, I mean, on paper, based off results, Olga probably looks like the favourite. She's just, world's strongest woman winner, Arnold's winner. She's done it all in the sport. Very consistent as well. She's not an athlete that's up and down. She's always good.
Yeah, always.
So with that experience, you'd probably pick her as the favourite. But again, some great athletes. I know how strong Summer is. Jackie as well, getting better all the time. So should be a great weekend.
Is Jackie the one who calls herself the trench ball?
Yes.
Amazing.
There we go, guys. That's your news for this weekend. Lots still to come this month. Let us know your thoughts down below. If you want to tune in and watch any of those shows, there are links down below. Take it easy. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys next time.